Now then, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I absolutely love this film so much, but I have a question. Could this film actually make $3 billion in the box office? Yes, I said that. Yes. Could this film absolutely make $3 billion? I think it could. But I'm not saying it will. I think it could. Okay. I have seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I'm just going to say it. I absolutely love this film. This Spider-Man was doing what Spider-Man should do. Big action, big spectacles, big emotional moments. And somehow, underneath all of that superhero madness, it still manages to capture my heart. Yes, it captured my heart.
It's the end of Brown Spider-Man.
I'm giving Spider-Man Brand New Day a 9 out of 10. Yes, 9 out of 10. This film is probably the best film I've seen this year.
Boom! Hot take.
Very close to it. I really loved Disclosure Day, but this film, it's probably the best I've seen all year. And believe me, there are a couple of things I would change. There are a few things I would change, but that's me really, really picking at it, because I walked out of this film, out of the cinema, thinking, wow, that was Spider-Man. Wow, he's back. But then I started looking at what was happening at the box office. Yes, what's happening at the box office. And I had another thought, a slightly ridiculous thought, a potentially very, very ridiculous thought. Could Spider-Man Brand New Day become the first $3 billion movie? Because I'm starting to think, yes, it actually could.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
First, let me talk about the Spider-Man film. I'm going to start with what I loved about it. Yes, I do appear to be looking at my script, because I am. The action was fantastic. The film moves. When Spider-Man gets into a fight, you feel the speed of him. You feel with him. You feel his anxiety. You feel it all. You feel the impact. You feel that Spider-Man isn't just another bloke in a superhero costume punching somebody. He's Spider-Man. He's flying around. He's bouncing around. He's getting smashed into things that would turn the rest of us into a reddish puddle. But what surprised me is the emotion they managed to put around all that action, because the film made me care about Peter again, made me care about Spider-Man, made me care about Peter again. It made me care about his friends. It made me care about MJ. And that's important to the story of Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man has always worked best underneath the mask and the powers and the massive action sequence. Peter Parker's life is an absolute disaster. He can save New York and then wake up next day in a cocoon, a webbed cocoon, nearly naked. And he's wondered how he's got there. My days, poor guy. And Brand New Day understands that. The world doesn't remember Peter Parker.
It's the end of Brown Spider-Man.
But Peter remembers them. He remembered the people he loved. He remembers the relationship. He remembers everything that happened. And there is something genuinely quite heartbreaking about that. The film could easily have gone, look, Spider-Man, explosion, superheroes, and called it a day. Instead, there is actually an emotional core underneath everything. And that is one of the biggest reasons I enjoyed it so much. One of the little nitpicks, I would have loved Spider-Man. Back and forth with the criminals. A bit of back and forth with the criminals, like Spider-Man we know and love. Yeah, because you can imagine Spider-Man beating Scorpion or some of the other criminals, and they're having a back and forth. He's giving it what for, Scorpion's giving it what for. They're having a bit sarcasm. Your suit's, your suit's a bit rubbish, and him complaining about his suit. I would have loved just a tiny little bit more of that, because that's what Spider-Man is all about. And that's really, really, really me nitpicking. Really nitpicking. And that's like the difference between 9.5 and 9. But 9 is a great score for a movie. Best I've seen all year. Now, let us talk about the money. Because what is happening, Spider-Man Brand New Day has absolutely exploded at the box office. We're not talking about, that's a successful Marvel film. No, because it's Sony. We're talking, the film opened to roughly 932 million worldwide on its opening weekend. That's almost $1 billion.
Say what?
And it's already blasted past $1 billion worldwide. And now it comes to the ridiculous question. Yes, it is ridiculous. Can Spider-Man get to 3 billion? At first, 3 billion sounds insane. It does. I get it. It sounds insane. Because no movie has ever done it. You're asking Spider-Man to walk into completely uncharted territory. But look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. The opening was enormous. The second weekend feels like it's going to be enormous too. The audience responses has been extremely strong. The word of mouth is crazy good. And Spider-Man has something incredibly important going for him. Time. Yes, folks, he has time. Spider-Man Brand New Day has time. He has no challenges. The only challenger is coming to the end of its box office run. What is actually going to stop this thing? The Odyssey has already a massive moment and is quietening down. And interestingly, Spider-Man has now taken over IMAX screens after the Odyssey exclusive IMAX window has ended. That's potentially another boost. And then we look through August. We've got films coming. Paw Patrol, the Dino movie. It's not my cup of tea. Insidious, Out of the Future. Or Out of the Further. No idea. But that's a horror film. They do well, but will it compete against Spider-Man Brand New Day? No. Mutiny. Coyote versus Acne. I'm excited for that film. Cliffhanger. Is that a remake? I don't know. Any of them films going to challenge Spider-Man? No. There is some films there people will want to see. But will the majority want to see Insidious or Cliffhanger or Paw Patrol? Paw Patrol could do well with families. Insidious is a horror audience. Generally do well. They do well. Do. Coyote versus Acme could attract families and people interested in finally seeing that movie. But none of those current look like a direct Spider-Man size blockbuster. And that's incredibly important to understand, because Brand New Day doesn't necessarily need to keep making hundreds of millions every weekend. Well, it technically does if it wants to reach the 3 billion. It just needs the legs. Yes, the legs. That's all it needs, legs. It needs people continuing to go and go again and again. So, one thing what might help is there's nothing challenging Spider-Man at the theatres. But the other thing, it's the summer holidays. It's August. Here in the UK, kids are off school. I'm not sure. I assume America and other parts of the world are the same. But I'm just going of what I see here in the UK. And that's another massive advantage. Parents are looking for things for their kids to do. The kids are wanting entertainment. Teenagers are wanting to be entertained. Teenagers are wanting to maybe take girlfriends, brand new girlfriends, somewhere to do teenage things. Families want something they can all go and watch and enjoy. And Spider-Man is sitting there. Hello. Going to the cinema is still a relatively straightforward, I say relatively straightforward. It's becoming more pricey, but during the day you can get saver tickets. Yeah, even weekends and nights you can get saver tickets. Yeah, is it Meerkat that does the buy one get one free? I'm not sure if any of them do that anymore. It gets you out of the house. It entertains the kids for a few hours, 3 hours. Yeah, it entertains the whole family. Parents are, what can I do with little Timmy or little June? I know, well, let me take him to Spider-Man. Or little Timmy is, can I see Spider-Man again? Can I see Spider-Man again? I want to see Spider-Man. I want to see Spider-Man. But Timmy, we've seen that like 8 times. I know, Mum, but I want to see it. 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 And Mum's like, okay, let's go. She can be on her phone. Little Timmy's watching Spider-Man. Maybe June. I want to see Spider-Man. I want to be Spider-Man. You could be June. You can be Spider-Man, June. You can. Go and watch Spider-Man. It will entertain kids and families for days. Days. If I'm just thinking my own childhood, and I could watch the same film. I really loved this Spider-Man. And if I was a kid seeing this film, I would want to see this film every day. I would repeat. I would go again and again. Oh, yeah. And more importantly, everybody's happy. Parents are happy. They get a few hours on TikTok or on the phone. Or maybe just taking, their partner and they get on the back seat and little Timmy and June are in the front seats watching. It's a date night for teens. It's a date night for, people who are dating. I don't know what that is. More interestingly, you've got the hardcore Spider-Man fans that have probably already seen this film 4 times, 5 times. But what happens when the families go? What happens when casual audience goes? What happens when people who have actually watched it start saying, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing that film again. I could sit through that film again. And that's how it creates the box office legs. That's how this film could challenge to be the top grossing film ever. So 3 billion, does that sound more out of the question? You tell me. I'm not saying Spider-Man Brand New Day will make 3 billion. Let me make that very clear. $3 billion is an absolutely ridiculous amount of money. It would have to keep performing at extraordinary levels for weeks. I don't think it's ridiculous anymore to ask that question. That is the difference. Before release, 3 billion, already? What, you lost your mind? Take that silver tin foil off. Take it off. But now, after that opening, after reaching $1 billion in extraordinary speed, after the second weekend numbers, which we will get sooner rather than later, after getting IMAX screens with relatively limited blockbuster competition immediately ahead. Suddenly, I'm thinking, hang on, could we actually be watching box office history, folks? Could we be watching box office history? My verdict, as a film, 9 out of 10. I loved it. Action-packed, emotional, funny, exciting. And most importantly, it made me care about Spider-Man and Peter Parker again. I'd have liked a little more classic, sarcastic Spidey during the movie and during the fights. There are maybe one or two things I would trim. I really enjoyed Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. I really enjoyed her. I enjoyed in Stranger Things and Fear Street. She's a great little actress, amazing little actress. But those are tiny complaints about the film that I had an absolute brilliant time watching. And financially, I'm planting my flag. The 3 billion watch has officially begun. Do I think it definitely happened? No. Do I think it can happen? Yes. And if Spider-Man keeps holding like this, we might be watching the first movie in cinema history to cross that unbelievable line. So now I want to know, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Did you enjoy Spider-Man Brand New Day? What would you give it out of 10? Was there anything you would change? And most importantly, 2 billion, 2.5 billion, or does Spider-Man actually swing all the way to 3 billion? Let me know in the comments, because if this thing actually makes 3 billion, I'm going to be absolutely over the moon. I've been your host, Rare Eddie 1. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a follow, hit that subscribe button. I will catch you in my next video. Peace.